Welcome to my beginner's guide for Skull and Bones. I realize the game has been out for well over a year, but there's been a lot of changes made to Skull and Bones since it launched back in 2024. And we're also in the middle of Year 2, Season 2. So now I thought would be a good time to create a new account, go into Skull and Bones, and show you all the basics. Those of you that are new to the game, that just started playing it or about to start playing it, or those of you that, might have missed a few things. Maybe you're not new, but maybe there's some stuff in this guide that might help the newer players in Skull and Bones. So you probably already did the tutorial and you've already met Scarlock. That's pretty much where we're at here in my beginner's guide. And the good thing about the game is it does a really good job of helping you get your feet wet, so to speak. But there are a few things the game doesn't really mention that I would like to go over with you. So we're going to start off by going over the journal, view objectives. So whatever button works, whether it's on your PlayStation controller, Xbox controller, mouse and keyboard, whatever button tells you to push in order to access the journal. And from here, you'll see the main missions. The main missions is this gold icon, the sun, skull icon, whatever you wish to call it. It's the first mission you're going to have to do in the game after meeting Skurlock. Get a ship from the shipwright. So we'll go speak to the shipwright in a few minutes. But first, I want to walk through all the aspects of this menu to help you out. So you can always find your main missions here. Then you got Death Tides. And I did a video about Death Tides a while back in case you're curious about Death Tides. Basically, it's the PvP mode in the game if you're interested in PvP. Most of Skull and Bones is PvE, but there is some PvP aspects to Skull and Bones. Next, we got the world events. So there's world events always happening in Skull and Bones in both World Tier 1 as well as World Tier 2. Now, this focus is just on World Tier 1 because it is a beginner's guide. Next, we got World Tier 1, things going on in World Tier 1, such as the main mission. And, of course, we have other stuff that we'll go over as well as we go through the beginner's guide. So, right now, you only have access to the journal as well as your ship's cargo. Now, obviously, we're still using the dhow, and it has a small limitation when it comes to the weight capacity. 10,000. That's all I can carry, pound-wise. And always be mindful of the orange square down there, the cargo, because you don't want to get encumbered. Next is the captain profile. This tells you your infamy rank and all the way up to Kingpin and beyond Kingpin. It also tells you about the current ship you're using. Right now we're using the dhow, that's the class name. So the name above the class name is just the ship's name. And its standard name is Jolly. You can change the name of any of your ships to whatever you want to call it, but the class of this particular boat is the dhow. Its size is extra small. It's mainly used for hunting purposes. So that's what this ship is for. And also some stealth missions. Next is the achievements. You have now access to the captain achievements. Complete claim them to obtain the achievement badges. Showcase your badges by equipping and claimed achievements in the captain card badge slot. So you'll be able to earn these and many more achievements. So if you ever want to know what your rank is, whether you're Infamy 1 or Infamy 9 or you're about to become a Kingpin, you can always come here to look at your progress when it comes to ranking up in Skull and Bones. Now let's talk about the Codex, which is extremely important, vital information for new and veteran players in Skull and Bones. You have the knowledge, codex, archives, tutorials, along with your investigations whenever you happen to come across rumors. But the codex is a lot of valuable information regarding ships. We have up to 16 ships that you can eventually upgrade and craft. By the way, you don't have to upgrade and craft all 16 ships, just the ships that you really want. You start off the game with the dhow once again, along with the better, but then you'll have the ability to get other vessels, small ships, along with some medium-sized ships, and eventually maybe even get yourself a large ship one of these days, like the frigate. But you're obviously way off from reaching this point in the game. Next is the captain's tools, which you'll be able to upgrade at the carpenter. And these are very important. There's navigation tools, such as the spyglass. You eventually want to get the spyglass fully upgraded, along with the hunting tools for when you're in your dhow hunting for fish, crocodile, sharks, as well as hippo. And of course the various harvesting tools, which you can learn more about by opening up the Codex. There's 5 levels of each of these tools for the crowbar, the pickaxe, saw, as well as the sickle. Next is the various weapons in the game that you can check out via the Codex. You can get weapons a lot of different ways: by sinking other ships, through completing missions, side quests, purchasing weapons, along with blueprints, in order to take the blueprints over here to the blacksmith in order to craft certain weapons. So we got the all-deck weapons, which are culverins and demi-cannons. The culverins are your standard guns in the game. You start off with culverin 1s on your better, and then you can get better cannons along the way. Culverins are basically close to medium range weapons. The demi-cannons are shotguns. They're very good up close, not so good when it comes to medium and long range. But there's different colors that you can get. It's color-coded just like in a lot of games. Gray is the bottom tier weapons, armor, furniture. Green is, I guess you could say, the rare. And then these are, the blue ones are a little bit better than the greens. The best furniture, armor, and weapons in the game will always be purple. Next is the demi-cannons. These are the shotguns for your ships. Very good at close range, not so good at medium or long range. Then we got the top deck weapons, which include the long guns. These are good for medium to long range attacks. So if you want your ship to be equipped with long guns. A lot of people like to use these in the bow of the ship in the front. That's where I like to put my long guns. Some people want to have nothing but long guns on their vessels. That's fine. Your ship, you can equip it the way you want. And then you got the bombards. These are okay. Some people like them, some people don't. Usually I put my bombard on the rear of my vessel. And then you got torpedoes. Yes, we have torpedoes in Skull and Bones. Not exactly time period appropriate, but there definitely are plenty of people that like using torpedoes. You also got the bow weapons, which can only be equipped on the front of your ship. The ballistas, which are the crossbows of the game. And then you have the flamethrowers, also known as the sea fire weapon. Once again, these are only equipable on the front of your ship. And then we got the auxiliary weapons. Your small ships won't originally come with an auxiliary weapon slot, but if you upgrade it, then you'll be able to eventually get an auxiliary weapon, which includes the mortars. So these are all the mortars, along with the rockets. And finally, the spring loaders, the mines, the buoys. So these are the spring loaders. So you have 3 different types of auxiliary weapons for your vessel. Next, we got the armor. And yeah, it's color-coded once again. Gray is the weakest. Then you got green. And then you got blue. And then you got the purples, which are the strongest ones. And each one provides a different sort of benefit, pros as well as cons, when it comes to the armors of the ship. Next in the Codex, you have different types of furniture you'll be able to equip to your vessel. Major furniture, offensive furniture, utility furniture. There's also various materials you can find in the game that you can investigate via the Codex, along with provisions, ship supplies, crew provisions. And finally, we got commodities, which you can acquire by looting, by destroying ships, plundering, and then selling the various commodities to merchants and dens and outposts for profit in order to earn more silver. Selling commodities is the best way to earn silver in the game. And you're going to come across commodity traders as well as merchants you can sell to. At the moment, I cannot interact with her, but you will be able to once you advance the main story of the game. But you can come up to the hawker, which you can also sell to. And by the way, the hawkers are also a great place to go whenever you need ammo for your ship. So if you're running low on cannonballs, or buoys or any other ammo type, depending on the weapon you're using, I recommend you come to the hawker to purchase those particular ammos, unless you want to just craft them yourself via blueprint, which is also an option. And you get ammo by destroying ships, so that's another way you get ammo. But the commodities, so we got a few commodities to look at here real quick. And you're going to get better commodities as you play the game, but this is like the starter commodities. This is how you earn silver. As you can tell, I'm going to earn 122 silver per each cannon powder, so I can sell these. All 3 of these will get me 366 silver, so I'll go ahead and sell that. And then one of these will get me 121 silver, which times 3 is 363, so I'll sell this as well. Always sell the commodities, except for times when a merchant has that arrow, whether it's like one arrow going down or multiple arrows going down. That means you're not going to get the average value of the commodity. So I would hold on to anything that has an arrow or more than one arrow pointing down and sell it once you come across a merchant that at least offers you fair price. And in some cases, you'll come across merchants that will offer you more than fair price. And you'll see that in green arrows pointing up. So that's always the best time to sell a commodity. But most of the time, I just sell it when it comes to the just average asking price. But you definitely don't want to sell it to the hawker if she is not going to pay you a fair price for your commodities. There's also the archive section, so you can always come through here and things that you've discovered in the game regarding characters and story, lore of the game. You can always come in here and check that out in archives. Tutorial is especially beneficial for new players. You got activities such as combat, progression, cosmetics, ships, equipment, crafting, harvesting, the helm. Eventually, once you reach Kingpin, then you'll be able to access the helm as well as the helm tutorial, and of course, death tides for the PvP action. So yeah, that's pretty much the Codex. And the calendar. The calendar keeps you informed as to what's going on in Skull and Bones. Like right now, there's a Glory Adorned time-limited event where you can attack this convoy. You can get up to 5 different cosmetics. Then going forward, there's going to be other stuff coming in the future throughout the rest of August, September, going in October, the rest of Year 2, Season 2 for Skull and Bones. By the way, you can also find the seasonal calendar here in the menu section of Skull and Bones, so you can always access that here through the seasonal calendar. One thing you definitely want to do is you want to have your Ubisoft account connected. Even if you have to create a new Ubisoft Connect account, you kind of have to play this game. So be sure and do that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, you want to go into the store. And you don't have to buy anything, because I know a lot of people don't want to buy anything. Everybody is going to get 500 complimentary gold. So you can hold on to that and spend it on something that might be worth 500 gold. Most things in the game are worth more than 500 gold. That's just the way they do it. It's Ubisoft, right? But there is some free things you can always find in the game, such as these free rewards. So you can always scroll down to the free rewards section, and you can find some free stuff. For example, right now in Skull and Bones, Year 2, Season 2, we got some cosmetics. We got Fangs of Justice. We also got High Station. So we'll go ahead and we'll claim these. So hold down to claim. So got some free cosmetics for your character. And we're also going to claim these free ship cosmetics as well. So we'll go ahead and claim these two. And every season they add more free. They add free stuff. So every season, a Skull and Bones always come back to the store. Even if you're not buying from the store, you don't have to buy from the store. It's just cosmetics, microtransactions. It's how they pay for the game to continue. Besides, obviously, selling the game and the Smuggler's Pass. The other free item right now is the Welcome Bundle. The Welcome Bundle will include a few resources. So we'll go ahead and claim the Welcome Bundle. So you definitely want to take advantage of the free stuff. Absolutely. The Year 2, Season 2 Welcome Bundle. We acquired that. We'll go over that in a moment. And then what you want to do is go down to Ubisoft Connect, because there's more stuff in here as well. So there's definitely more rewards you can get. For example, if you happen to play other Ubisoft games, you're going to get Ubisoft coins, as some of you are aware of. And you can spend those Ubisoft coins on various items that are in this Skull and Bones rewards section. There's also free stuff down here. You definitely want to claim this stuff even if you don't have any Ubisoft coins. So you want to come down here to all these and then get it. Go ahead and get it because it's free. Definitely want to do this at the beginning of the game. Or if you haven't done it already, I guess now's better than never, as they say. So we claim that whole color. We got these cells. And we also got a good start. We got some resources we can claim, and it'll go into our warehouse. So we got that. Plus we got 100 coins. Since I only have 100 Ubisoft coins on this account, I'm going to buy the wheel. So let's go ahead and buy the wheel. We can put this on any ship, by the way, besides the Dow. So we claim that, and we're going to go ahead and claim this modus and emblem as well. That way we have even more cosmetics to choose from in the game. So be sure and claim what you're able to claim for free. And there's also going to be core challenges. You can do these 30 core challenges to get additional rewards. So it's good to go back and look at these. If you're really bored in the game and you want to knock out these 30 challenges, feel free and do so. And like I said, you'll be rewarded by doing these challenges. And there's also time-limited events that rotate every week. Right now there is a community event where we have to consume food as a pirate community. 5.5 million food consumed will earn us 500 pieces of 8. So there's definitely some challenges you can do in the game in order to get various additional rewards, as well as freebies in Skull and Bones. And after claiming some things, you notice down in the bottom right-hand corner, the mail icon has a yellow marker by it, indicating that I have mail. So over here by the warehouse is the mailbox. So anytime it's glowing with that yellow marker, always check your mail, because there's probably stuff worth getting, like rewards from Ubisoft Connect. So we're going to go ahead and claim these rewards and add this to our cosmetics. And there are going to be times when you have the ability to put something on your cargo from the mailbox or move it to your warehouse. I would advise you always move it to your warehouse. So let's go ahead and move that to our warehouse. We can go back to it later. So we get more rewards. All right, so we've claimed all of our cosmetics as well as materials. And now what we're going to do is we're going to proceed to the first mission. Get a ship from the shipwright. So let's go talk to the shipwright real quick and get, I guess you could say, your second ship in the game, courtesy of John Scurlock. All right, so the game gives you the better. And there's two ways you can set sail. You can either run up here to Ashna, your first officer, to set sail. Or, if you just want to do it more quickly, as you may notice on the screen, just hold down the button that is showing for you. And there's your ship. Now, if you want to quickly move things to and from your cargo to your warehouse, come down to Manage Cargo. And you see that we have a few things here already. We got some fish for the crew. That's for the crew stamina. We also got some repair kits. Let me move the repair kits over to the cargo because we're going to need repair kits when we take damage. This stuff, we keep these things in the warehouse. As for this chest, let's go ahead and open this chest. The possible loot: upgrade parts, casting sand, shellac, crude salt, pepper, lime. This stuff is very important for upgrading ships, upgrading materials, as well as crafting new ships, crafting weapons, furniture, armor, etc. So let's see what we got. We got some pretty decent stuff. So that's another reason why you want to get all the freebies, because it helps give you a little bit of a leg up for your journey into Skull and Bones. So we got all that available. Next, let's go to Manage Ship. Here you'll be able to select your weapons. So at the moment, we have 3 culverins. Culverin 1s. This is a pretty weak gun. We just talked about it in the Codex. And as you may have noticed, in the Codex, there's a lot more powerful weapons. You can acquire culverins, demiguns, as well as long guns, etc. So we're going to be rocking these 3 culverin 1s right now because that's what everybody starts with. And then armor. So eventually we're going to be able to get an armor. And we'll be able to add it to the ship to give it a little bit more strength. Its power level is only 2 right now. The maximum power level that any ship can have in the game is 15. Furniture, at the moment, this ship can only have 2 furniture, but by upgrading the ship, you'll be able to open more furniture slots. They give you boosts for like weapon boosts, hull boosts, armor boosts, speed boosts. There's a lot of different types of pros to the furnitures, and you just got to read over the information regarding the furniture in order to have the right furniture that goes with the type of ship you're trying to build, whether it's a DPS ship, a support ship, like a healing ship or a tank, as well as the particular weapons. So we also got ship cosmetics, thanks to the freebies. So we'll go over this real quick. So this is the cell color. These are currently, these 4 are the freebies that we have access to at the moment. So we'll just real quickly go ahead and select this color. And then we have a cell pattern. We only have 3 cell patterns to choose from. By the way, you don't even have to use a cell pattern if you don't want. If you just want to keep it plain Jane, you can do that. But you also have the ability to select one of these patterns. So we'll grab this one. And we have a few different emblems to choose from. So we got a few starting off. Let's see which one we want to start off with. We'll go ahead and use this one. And then we can come back and decide. If you decide you don't like this color, but you like the emblem, you can always go and look at the different options. Like maybe that's better. Or you can also purchase more emblems in the shop. These are silver. Silver is the main in-game currency. You can also eventually earn pieces of 8. And obviously with the gold, you can buy cosmetics through the store. But gold is real money. So if you don't want to spend money in Skull and Bones, there are definitely things that you can purchase with silver. Once again, this is the beginner's guide. We're probably not going to touch on pieces of 8. Okay, so there are some figureheads you can eventually purchase. We can't afford them right now, obviously. But the gold icon indicates that these you can only buy with real money in the store. And then we have a few hull colors that we've acquired. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep the color scheme the same. And then we'll move on to these. These 2 we can purchase for the ornaments. Once again, this is not necessary. I mean, it's just cosmetic. So you don't have to put any of this on your ship. Just put on your ship whatever you want. So, yeah, once again, all this is only available to purchase with real money through the store. And then, of course, that wheel. We'll go ahead and get that free wheel. Because at the moment, most players only access to the bog standard wood wheel are one of these 2 wheels. But I like this one. It's a good starter wheel. And then some additional cosmetics. And then you can also decide what your crew wears. So we'll put them in this outfit because that's the only outfit I have available besides the standard outfit. But there's some you can purchase with silver. And there's going to be some more of these cosmetics you'll be able to purchase with pieces of 8. There's also at least 1 pet you can acquire. This particular lemur for 2,000 silver. Doesn't really do anything. It's just kind of cute to have a pet with you on your voyages. There's also some different stuff you can put on your ship. More decorations up in the crow's nest, as well as fireworks you can purchase if you want to have a firework. Usually people will fire off fireworks at the conclusion of a battle or completing one as a group, whether it's with friends or with randos that show up, like a convoy or a sea captain or a sea creature, for example. And then the oars, we don't have any oars. The oars are not really necessary. But there's obviously a variety of ways you can customize your vessel. And we can also name our ship. The class of this particular ship is the better. And it is one of the weaker DPSs in the game. It's also a small ship. You have small, you have medium-sized ships, and we do have 1 large ship in the game called the Frigate. That is the newest ship in the game currently at the recording of this video. It is a tank type ship, but this is the DPS. Well, one of a few DPSs. But you can name your ship if you want. But there are limitations. Obviously, you can't post anything offensive, and there is a limit to how many words you can use. So yeah, in case you want to name your ship. So that's how you name your ship. You can also create cosmetic loadouts. So you can come in here and save cosmetic loadouts if you just like a ship in particular and you just want to have different cosmetic loadouts for it and just quickly change it. That's how you do it here in cosmetic loadouts. And then you also have arsenal loadouts to do basically the same thing for your weapon loadouts as well as your armor and furniture loadouts. So this is something new that they added to the game with this current season. And you can also assign ships to the Dev Tides fleet, though I'd highly recommend not going into Dev Tides just yet. unless eventually you want to try it out. Once again, I have a DevTides video for you to go watch if you're interested. But you can also eventually use your own ships in DevTides. But I'd recommend like fully upgrading one of your ships to level upgrade 7 out of 7 with the power of 15. So this ship will never make it into DevTides. It's too weak. But I think this ship is good to go. And you can always manage your fleet. At the moment, we only have 2 ships. We have this Better, and then we have our little hunting ship, the Jolly. I guess the Jolly is technically the weakest of the DPS ships. So yeah, this one, like I said, only has really 2 purposes. One for hunting various things like fishes, sharks, crocodiles, hippos, as well as some stealth missions are beneficial with the Dow. But everybody will start off the missions, the first few missions in the game, with the Better. And if you have any questions regarding anything Skull and Bones, if you're a beginner, feel free and ask in the comment section. Myself and others will be happy to answer any questions you happen to have. And to be honest, I think this game does a really good job in trying to give you the basics through these first few missions. But I do understand that there's still some things that new players have questions about. And I guess that's what I'm trying to add here. I guess you could say it's kind of like a tutorial plus. But obviously the game is telling me to hold start to get the ship up to full speed, because we're still technically doing the tutorial aspect of the game. All right, so sailing, wind direction. So you can see up there in the top right-hand corner that the green lines indicate the wind is blowing us in the right direction. The wind is with us. Let's go ahead and kill the shanty. But I guess that's the end-game song. Anyways. But, yeah, so the wind's with us. That's increasing our speed. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have our knots, 11 knots. But you'll eventually get the hang of all this. It just takes time. And as you may notice on that mini-map, there is a question mark. So we're going to sail towards the question mark. And by the way, you can always open the map. You can see how big this world is. And you discover the world by basically sailing around it. But I recommend staying in the Red Isles early on. But anywhere you can go to discover, always look around, because you'll find more places to go, such as these various outposts. And the outposts can be used to fast travel to. So I can fast travel from the Den of St. Anne to Verona Falls. And we can look at the map real quick. So right now I've already discovered this area. And I can either sail back and forth, which is cheaper, because fast traveling, as you may notice, is 190 silver just to fast travel from here to here. It's even more expensive when you get to these areas of the map further away, fast traveling all the way from up here back to St. Anne, or from St. Anne all the way to the coast of Africa, because there's outposts all over the place. It gets more expensive the further out you go, but for beginning players, I recommend you not fast travel. Just sail around, get used to the ship and how it works, and just maneuver around this entire area. Go through the little rivers, explore, land at the various outposts, because there's always goodies on the outposts. And each outpost does have a map. So as you can tell, this is your cache. This is connected to your warehouse, so you can always store stuff and take stuff out of your cache. Once again, it is connected directly to the warehouse. There are different merchants on each outpost that you can sell to and buy from. There's also water that you can go pick up for your crew to help increase sail speed, as well as the pirate bonfire. And there's a cookery, so we can go and cook stuff to feed to the crew. As you play the game, you will come across raw foods that can be fed to the crew. And the 2 easiest ones are coconut as well as fish. And there's a variety of other ones as well. So campfires, cookery pots can be used to cook food. Consumed grilled food gives an immediate boost to crew stamina. Cooked food grants stamina regeneration and even unique buffs. So right now we got some raw coconut to cook. I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. Just min-max it to, in my case, 27. And boom, done. In almost an instant, you have grilled coconut to feed your crew. Here is one of many merchants that you'll come across in Skull and Bones across the map. You have the ability to buy certain items from them, like weapons as well as furniture, blueprints to make weapons and furniture if you rather use blueprints, as well as some cosmetics. Sometimes you can buy ship cosmetics from them. Sometimes you can buy clothing cosmetics for your character. This one in particular sells some raw meats in order for you to use with the cookery, as well as some pre-cooked items as well. All this obviously costs silver. You can also buy some cannonballs from her if you need cannonballs. More ship cosmetics, captain cosmetics, and each merchant carries some different things. So it does pay off to explore and talk to each merchant. And some merchants also have side quests for you to do that reward you with a variety of things, such as silver, sometimes pieces of 8, as well as blueprints and unique cosmetics for your ship as well as your character. So you definitely want to interact with the merchants. Plus, while you're on Outpost, there's always free stuff to pick up, like these cannonballs, for example. So always be on the lookout when you're running around an Outpost for freebies, because there's always plenty of freebies. And it doesn't matter if you're a new player or a veteran player, the more freebies you can get your filthy hands on, the better. Anything that's on the ground that you can just grab is fair game, in my opinion. In front of us is our destination. This is where we have to go. And our current mission is to sail to Nosy B and sink 3 campaign gatherers. In this case, you can use a spyglass to identify what's aboard these ships: stolen supplies, silver, bog iron, fish, and of course coconut. And you can also grill the coconut for your crew. So let's sail around over here, get close, and launch our attack. I probably want to slow down. So let me slow down, and then we can attack it. And see the red spots? Those are weak points. You always want to try and aim for the weak points, because they'll destroy the ships a lot easier. And that way you can claim the coconuts, the grilled fish, bog iron, silver, everything that was on that particular ship. I'm going to try to weaken this ship and not sink it, just to demonstrate the boarding, which sometimes challenges require you to board ships, and sometimes you get additional rewards by boarding. So we're just going to weaken it just enough to initiate boarding. Okay. Now this may take a few attempts. It's kind of like RNG, as you may notice. Yeah, the crew boarding is something a lot of players complain about even to this day. But that's pretty much how you board. It's a cutscene. But we did get an extra 7 bog iron for our trouble. So occasionally it does pay off to do that. And we have an optional mission to read the letter. All right, so we got to take down these enemy ships. We got quite a few we got to deal with. So this is going to be your first major fight you're going to be in. Once again, you definitely want to target the red points. And always loot, but always be mindful of the orange bar in the bottom left-hand corner where you have your knot speed. The orange is your cargo capacity that tells you like how close to being encumbered you are. The white is the ship's health. The blue is bracing. And the green is the crew stand. Repair the ship by hitting left on my D-pad. So as you can tell, the ship is now repaired. Let's let them hit us real quick because I want to teach y'all to brace. Always learn to brace. Bracing is very important. So if an enemy's about to fire at you, be sure and brace. Or if an animal, like one of the sea creatures, is about to hit you, bracing will mitigate the damage. So, all right. See how I braced? It's important to learn how to brace. Bracing can be your friend and can mean a lot less damage that your ship's going to take in battle against other ships, as well as the sea monsters in Skull and Bones. So you definitely want to learn to brace early on. By the way, one of the things you can quickly learn how to do is you can have your crew do sea shanties, or you can have them stop doing sea shanties right here. You can also edit things right here. So I can edit this and decide what type of repair kits I want to use. So I got repair kit 1. So let's keep it on repair kit 1. So we got that. So let's go here and edit this one. No, not that. This one. So I'm going to put it on fish. So let's switch it to fish. So you can edit that. And you can always change your ship, like the camera angle. So right now we got it right here in third person. We can take it more up close here. If you like this better, you can always switch between these two. There's also a third camera that you might want to consider. And that one is this one. So you can switch it here as well. So you can also drive the ship in first person if you rather play the game in first person. So you have 3 different camera angles to choose from. Basically a first person mode when you're sailing around. You have a third person mode. And if you want to switch it back to the captain's third person, then just do that. So that's how you pretty much do that. For example, you can look at up here in the crow's nest. Up here. So you can do that. Pretty easy to do. So we'll go back down. And you can also activate the camera. So there's an okay camera mode. So you can just use it to look around, take some cool photos. See what they're up to. Looks like this one dude's getting attacked by this other ship. Guess he ticked off the French. So yeah, you can create some pretty cool photos. That's what I do all the time. From the mini-map, we go to the main map in the game. And this shows you everywhere I've explored so far at the recording of the video. So this is what I've explored. And obviously the game works like a fog of war. It gives you an idea of what else is in the game, like the coast of Africa, the open seas, which is the roughest part of the map. And then, of course, you have the East Indies as well. And eventually, you have Telok, which is the second pirate den in the game. We only have 2 pirate dens, St. Anne, and then eventually you'll find your way over here to Telok. I think Telok's right there, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this is a good way to show you like where things are. You have different settlements as well as guard towers, location to discover. Always discover the undiscovered locations, because sometimes they might actually be outposts that you can run around, grab some stuff, sell things to merchants, and use it as a fast travel point to go back and forth. But fast travel does cost silver. And there's also materials that you can find. So if you're looking to hunt sharks, or you want to get some coconuts, or you're looking for some bog iron, you can always zoom into the map and the areas that you've discovered in order to find certain items such as shipwrecks, hippos, and various other things. But you have to first discover the area in order to find these particular, I guess, clues to help you go and find certain items that you need, because obviously there's some things that require jute, so it's good to know where jute is so you can sail over to the jute and harvest the jute. But there's 2 dens in the game. St. Anne is the main den, and then there's a second den later on as you advance through the main story of Skull and Bones. So there is a main story, which is with the that golden skull sun icon. Scarlock has a few missions for you, and then you'll encounter another den you'll have to sell to and do some missions for that pirate lord. And then there's a few other pirate lords you'll encounter as well, courtesy of the first year of Skull and Bones. So there's definitely some story missions to do in the game and side quests. There's also going to be a job board for you. Well, this is the bounty board eventually you'll get access to for various bounties. And then eventually you'll get access to the job board, which is here. So whenever you're concluding a mission, sometimes it'll automatically conclude. Other times you'll have to return to the person in general and submit the mission in order to complete it. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so that mission is accomplished. As you can tell, we got a few things for our trouble. Let's talk about managing cargo really quick. A moment ago, we talked about the cargo capacity for your ship. The Dow has the smallest cargo, 10,000 pounds max. Better is a little bit better at 20,000, but all ships can only carry up to 50 different items in the cargo capacity. It doesn't matter if it's a small ship, medium ship, or large ship at the recording of this video. But this is generally what I like to do. I keep my repair kits in my cargo. Well, my best repair kits. Right now, my best repair kits are repair kit 1. Eventually, you'll get repair kit 2, repair kit 3, emergency repair kits. And I'd highly recommend using the best repair kits that you currently have for repairing your vessels in battle. And your ammo, whatever ammo you happen to be using on your ship, always make sure you have plenty of ammo. And then, of course, any commodities you're planning on eventually selling to the various vendors and merchants across the game. And food for your crew, along with water flasks, because this will help you increase the sail speed. You'll also come across various chests in the game, whether there's silver chests or treasure chests, or chests that are rewards from beating sea monsters, elite captains, etc. So you definitely want to make sure you open your chests or anything that's silver related, like silver bags, silver boxes, silver chests, because that also rewards you silver. With this ordnance chest, we are going to get a weapon. So we just got ourselves the Flooding Demi Cannon 1. So we got that. I can go ahead and move that over to my warehouse, which I'm doing. And by the way, your warehouse capacity is at the beginning of the game 350. But once you reach Kingpin, it'll be up to 500 spaces in your warehouse. So at the moment, I've got a variety of things here. I have materials for future ships or upgrading ships, as well as using the blueprints to potentially craft weapons, armor, furniture, depending on what you want to craft and upgrade. So that's where I recommend you put any of these materials that you happen to come across. Always store them in your warehouse. And then any extra weapons, always like to keep extra weapons here. And eventually, if it gets to the point where you have too much stuff in your warehouse, you can always take the lesser weapons and salvage them at the blacksmith. And other materials as well, such as, for example, the crocodile wile hide. That's also a material that you can use for crafting and upgrading. So I always like to keep a lot of this stuff in my warehouse because you only have a certain amount of space and weight capacity when it comes to your ships. All too often I'll notice people like with a ton of stuff in their cargo. And I just scratch my head wondering why they have so much stuff in their cargo when they have a perfectly good warehouse to store a lot of that stuff in. And since we have better cannons now, we can equip the new Demi Cannon to the ship. So let's go ahead and go to weapons. And we actually have bombards and we have Demi Cannons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out the Culverin 1 for the Demi Cannon, since it's basically, once again, the shotgun of the game. We also have an iron husk armor now on the ship to increase the defense of the ship as well as the power rating, along with a furniture. So I can have up to 2 furnitures at this point in the game. Currently only have 1. And once I get the second furniture, then it'll make the ship even more powerful. Once you acquire any sort of blueprint, even ship blueprints, you can look at it in your Codex. Once again, going over to the Codex. From the Codex to the ships, once again, as you can tell, we have 2 different blueprints now for the Hulk, which is a tank type ship, as well as the Cutter, which is a support healer type vessel. After completing a mission for the blacksmith, you'll be given 2 blueprints. One for the Hulk, which is the small tank ship in the game, as well as the Cutter, which is the small support ship. Support ships or healer ships are great for supporting other ships by having healing weapons on them, like repair long guns, repair mortars, the Saving Grace spring lock. You can also eventually get the rare white jade cannons. This ship is definitely useful to help heal other ships, friend or randos, in battles throughout the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, the tank ships specialize in bracing against incoming damage. Tanks excel in defense. These ships can take a lot of damage before they are destroyed. And if you equip them properly, they can also deal a lot of damage to their foes. And the DPS ships, the third type of ship you can acquire, specializes in dealing damage and status effects. The DPS favors an aggressive playstyle. And with each ship, obviously, there's a lot of information for you to look over, just like with weapons, the furniture, armor, etc., in order for you to decide which ship is right for you. Congratulations on crafting your first ship. The Codex isn't just for tracking blueprints. It's your guide to finding materials and commodities across the Indian Ocean. If you're unsure where to look, check the Codex for valuable hints. Now, I talked a little bit about being able to upgrade ships. At the shipwright, you're able to craft new ships, such as, once again, the Hulk or the Cutter, once you do that blacksmith mission. But unfortunately, you can't upgrade the ships until you reach Infamy level 6. Once you do that, then you can start upgrading your ships, small or medium, or even your large ship if you ever get a frigate, all the way up to 7 out of 7, which makes them even more powerful on the high seas. Speaking of the blacksmith, after completing the main story mission for him, he has a side quest for you to do, and you're going to find a lot of NPCs that will have side quests for you to take care of and do for them. As rewards, you will be given various items, in this case, 1,200 silver, some materials, 2 long gun 2s if you complete this Forging Ahead side quest. And I highly recommend, along with the main story missions, that you also do the side quests for the various NPCs in the dens, as well as those that you happen to encounter on various outposts throughout the Indian Ocean. Eventually, you will be able to make your weapons even more powerful, but you first got to reach Infamy level 9. Now, when it comes to unwanted armor, guns, or furniture, do not sell anything you do not want to use, like these bottom tier weapons, because eventually the blacksmith will be able to take your unwanted weapons, armor, and furniture and salvage them into more materials for you to use for crafting, as well as upgrading ships, the tools, future weapons, armor, as well as furniture. In other words, do not sell any weapons, armor, or furniture that you no longer want. When the time comes, simply take it to the blacksmith and salvage it. And those materials will be automatically transported to your warehouse. As you rank up and reach new levels, sometimes you'll be rewarded by the Sons of Liberty. In this case, Infinity level 2, you're going to be able to claim the Infernal Emblem, along with some deckhand forearms, an Infamy chest, as well as Chaser earrings. So let's go ahead and claim that and move that chest to the warehouse. So we got that now. So we can go and look in the Managed Cargo section, find the chest, and we can go ahead and open it for the rewards that happen to be inside, which include a Hunting Spear 2 upgrade, along with a recipe and various other things as well. Plus, we just got another furniture. This one is specifically for bombards. So if you want to equip bombards on your ship, like Bombard 1 or Fire Bombard 1, you definitely want to consider putting a Bombard furniture on your ship as well. Now, the other reason why you don't want to sell or scrap any weapons, furniture, armor that you're not using right now is because you're most likely going to end up crafting other vessels that you can put that furniture, armor, weapons on. But everything else, eventually you will be able to salvage at the blacksmith for additional materials. While playing the game, every season has seasonal leaderboards. Seasonal leaderboard tracks the notoriety of kingpins in the season, calculated by your progress over the weeks. Earn Infinity to climb the seasonal league tiers and receive the seasonal currency as well. Kingpins who reach diamond status by the end of the season will also receive an exclusive badge to flaunt. Meanwhile, the weekly leaderboard tracks the notoriety gained by kingpins each week. Weekly leaderboard rewards kingpins who are persistent in growing their infamy through the season. Earn seasonal currency by climbing the weekly tiers, which can be used to purchase rewards from Blackwood. Something for all of you aspiring kingpins to look forward to. And the final thing I want to talk about in the beginner's guide is the fact that Skull and Bones, while it can be played alone, and you can find randos to play with, going after elite captains, sea monsters, convoys, etc., some people actually want to play this game with other people, like their friends, or their significant others, like, in my case, Riley. So how do you invite somebody to join your fleet. By the way, you can only have like 3 people in your quote-unquote fleet. I wish it was 4, but unfortunately 3 is better than nothing. All right, so all you got to do is go to the menu, press the triangle button on your PlayStation or whatever that button happens to be on Xbox or mouse and keyboard to bring up this menu. By the way, the social menu also tells you how many people are in the world. 16, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to invite Riley to this world. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll see how it goes. You can also see the friend requests if you have any friend requests in the world or in the socials, and also all the friends of yours that happen to be online. So we're going to go ahead and invite Riley and see how this works out. Maybe she'll be able to join the lobby, or maybe she won't be able to. I guess we'll just have to try it out. So sending the invite. Game invitation has been sent. So co-op rules. Playing in a group will change your experience, tougher enemies, coordinate to defeat your foes, who will scale indifferently based on your group size. Greater spoils. Spoils are multiplied by your group size and distributed equally among your members. Shared objectives. Group objectives are automatically shared and led by the group leader's progress. All players can contribute to the group leader's progress. Objectives completed while in a group will also award a small bonus. So those are the benefits to playing in co-op. So now we got Riley in here with me. And as you can tell, she's a much higher ranked player than my low-level character here. And in the top left-hand corner, you see her ship power rating, which is 15, the highest rank for a ship. Meanwhile, my ship is at currently power level 3. A little bit weaker. I would not want to 1v1 her with my little better. But there is some things you can do with co-ops as well as random players. And this is definitely a major positive when it comes to this game. I have the ability to promote her to leader, or she could promote me to leader if we were doing co-op. That way I could help her with her missions, or she could help me with my missions. You can also do trade requests. And this is a great way of bartering with somebody. Let's just say, for example, Riley's in need of some uncut sapphire. Say she needs 5 uncut sapphire for something in particular. And I happen to have some uncut sapphire. She needs 5. I happen to have 10. I'm going to give her 5. And in return, Riley's going to give me something that we have agreed to. She's going to give me 1 amazing cannonball. What a great deal. So if both parties agree to the trade, all you got to do is press to confirm. So I confirm, she confirms, and then we both accept the trade. And you can also, by the way, give somebody silver by doing the trade system as well. So a higher ranking player can help one of their lower ranking players. Like for example, I needed materials for crafting a ship or weapons, upgrades, armor. Then one of my higher ranking friends could help me with that by giving me materials or even giving me some silver to help me along the way. I've done that for a few of my friends as well, including Riley whenever she first got started. So it's very beneficial to play with friends and to interact with randos because you never know. A rando might be feeling generous and give you some nice weapons, armor, furniture, maybe some silver. But unfortunately, not everything is tradable. You'll come to realize that as you continue to play through Skull and Bones. There's just some items that can't be traded, unfortunately. And one bonus bit of advice for anybody that's new to the game. When it comes to settings, there's a few things I would recommend you change. This is a personal preference, so you may agree with this or disagree with it. To each their own. I would definitely turn the camera shake off. It can be kind of annoying. If you want to play with more players, you would probably want to turn the cross play on. I have the enable interaction outline off because I don't really feel like it's necessary. You have the ability to dither cells in combat. You can make that choice whether or not you find them obstructive or not obstructive. I don't really see the problem with the cells, so I don't bother with this one, but some people choose to. So there's definitely a few different options here in the settings. So like pick and choose what you like and don't like. But finally, when it comes to graphics, I recommend it on performance mode, especially if you're playing on a PS5 or Xbox Series X or a pretty decent PC. And depth of field, I would probably turn these off. But once again, that's just my opinion. Maybe you like depth of field and or motion blur. to each their own, as the old saying goes. And that concludes my Skull and Bones Beginner's Guide video. We went over a lot of information. Hopefully it was helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you have any questions or need any help or advice or tips regarding your journey into Skull and Bones, myself and other amazing Skull and Bones captains will be more than happy to answer any questions that you happen to have. Feel free and leave any questions you have regarding Skull and Bones below in the comments section.